to Charm Chats.
Hoodly-doo. And welcome to Charm Chats with Kendra
And Kat. Hoodly-doo. Gets me every time. We are on
episode 422.
the season finale. This one is called Which Way Now?
And yes, it's that witch.
Correct. Which witch? That witch. Sandwich.
I think I have that Munchkin card. Actually,
Possibly.
on the bookshelf somewhere.
Possibly. This one aired on May 16th, 2002.
We, of course, start immediately with a shot of a little vacuum tube TV showing a woman who is supposedly a psychic named Tashmin.
Now, on IMDb, she is just credited as TV Psychic instead of actually giving her a name, even though she's got technically a name.
Yeah.
But whatever. She is played by Gwen Stewart. She's born in Newark, New Jersey in 1963. She has 11 acting credits between 2000 and 2014 that are almost all single episodes of shows. And she was actually in the 2008 filming of Rent on Broadway for its final show.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah. So, kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Now, I'm fairly certain that I have mentioned Miss Cleo before
You
when
have.
Phoebe was pretending to be the hotel psychic, so I'm going to link to her again, just because. But this is basically like a Miss Cleo type thing of TV psychic, whatever. We find that we are in the Bay Mirror in Phoebe's office.
And she's just got the TV on for, like, background noise or something.
Yeah.
She's working at her desk. She's wearing a low-cut blue tank top with fabric roses, like, kind of across one boob, but
All the way
strategically
down.
missing both nipples.
Yeah, and
Which
it
are
goes
on
all the way down.
full display.
Oh, yeah, full display.
Yeah, and the bottom of it has, like, this asymmetrical cut as if it were a button down that was buttoned improperly.
Yeah, it's weird.
But it's
like,
not a button down. It's just...
It's like it's trying to be a crop top, but it's not
Yeah.
really a crop top. It's weird.
And she's got a... She's paired this with a long, not quite floor length. It's a bit of a weird hem. Skirt that has vertical stripes of like blue, green, orange, and white.
In like a weirdly pastel
Yeah,
shade.
yeah.
Like
It
they're-
matches the shirt, but honestly, it's not my favorite outfit.
I mean, I didn't mind the skirt.
I didn't mind it. I just felt like the combo was, while colorfully appropriate,
Yeah.
it didn't jive with me very well.
Yeah.
I mean, it jived fine, but wasn't my fave.
Yeah. Her hair is pulled up into a poofy bun, and she's wearing that little horseshoe necklace, and she has her glasses on, at least at the start of the scene.
Her assistant walks in wearing a gray pinstripe suit, carrying a big-ass box of letters.
Yeah.
And this lovely lady is played by Leslie Grossman.
Yes. She was born in Los Angeles in 1971. She has 61 credits so far, starting back in 1997. Now, just before this episode of Charmed, she would have been most recognized from her role as Mary Cherry on the show Popular, and just after for her role of Lauren on the show What I Like About You. Most recently, though, she has played a few different characters on American Horror Story.
And also Eleanor Shellstrap's mother on The Good Place.
Okay, then. I'm not caught up on The Good Place, so...
You see it in the first season, I'm pretty sure. There's, like, flashbacks that Eleanor has of her parents.
I don't remember.
And her mom always has a wine glass.
I don't remember.
Okay. Well, anyway, the character kind of reminded me of the stage version of Elle Wood's parents from Legally Blonde musical.
Yes.
Because her mom is the one that always has the... And in the movie, her dad is Victor, so it all ties back in.
Alrighty then. So, the box that she's carrying is full of Dear Phoebe letters, and the assistant asks if some of them should be put into storage.
Phoebe, while not looking directly at her, just kind of waves and says, just like, no, I'll get to them. I'm on a roll. And the assistant corrects her and says, you're on a mission. So Phoebe smiles and hands her a few sheets of paper, asking her to take them to Elise and find out which one she wants to run.
The assistant says that she will, and then tells Phoebe that she's amazing and asks what her secret is. And she asks about herbs and acupuncture before seeing Tashman on this TV and asks if it's that. Now, I'm fairly certain we've mentioned acupuncture before too, so I'll just link to that one. Phoebe, of course, assumes that the assistant doesn't believe in psychics, but the assistant replies that if it works for Phoebe, she's all for it.
Phoebe mutters to herself that it hasn't worked for her in a while, and then asks her assistant if she's ever found herself going through a really bad period in her life.
The assistant replies with a, "Don't get me started," and Phoebe says that she's finally getting out of hers and nothing will ever bring her back to that place again.
And you know
Dun,
what
dun, dun.
You know what happens when you say an absolute. A Sith pops out of the woodwork.
Yeah, the assistant is happy for her, and as Phoebe turns back to her computer, we hear a voice say, "Help me, Phoebe."
So Phoebe turns back to see and ask what the assistant said. The assistant,
who in the long shot made no movement of acknowledgement at all whatsoever, said, "I didn't say anything." And then she points to the TV and said, "She did."
and we see Tashman on the screen, and Gwen is doing a really good job of rolling her eyes back at different points. Like she's doing a kind
A
of
weird, yeah, like
she's
her
doing
eyes don't match.
a lovely on purpose cockeye.
Yes.
Or walleyes to the side. Cockeye is just various directions.
It's a haphazard eye.
Yes.
Yes. So her head kind of rolls back and her eyes roll back, and then she stares directly into the screen. And we hear her say again, "Help me, Phoebe." But this time, if you're paying attention, we can hear another voice with hers.
Spoiler alert, it's Coles.
Yeah.
So Phoebe, of course, looks at the TV in shock. She and her assistant share a small look of confusion/concern.
And then we cut abruptly to some construction happening right outside of
The house.
the manor.
Yeah.
So there are like jackhammers tearing up the street.
There's a giant pile of sand.
Yeah, it's...
I did actually, while I was watching this, like, look, because they get a crane, I'm guessing, and they pan up from across the street on the other side of all of this construction to see all these guys, and I was watching for the swan hitch. I'm like, did they take down the swan hitch
right?
for this?
We do, in fact, see the swan hitch.
Yeah.
It is behind a dude that's standing there, but we see it. We also see Paige and Piper's cars in the driveway.
Blocked by a small caterpillar machine of some variety.
Yeah, some
One of those ones with the
dirt collector. Bucket.
This motion I'm making is very like crabs, but
Bucket.
Yes, bucket.
Bucket is the word you're looking for.
But it's like the double wide bucket too.
Yeah.
It's not like the come over.
It's a bulldozer
yeah.
with a bucket.
Yes, that.
Yeah.
But it's a mini.
Yes. And the tree out front has full leaf coverage. Mm-hmm. We also see Paige in the long shot out staring out the window from the living room, which I thought was really cool that they were able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like they actually have her in the house.
Oh yeah.
Because then we cut to a close-up shot from outside looking in on her. So we're seeing her through the window still.
She, of course, asks how long the construction is meant to last, and we pop inside with Piper and Leo.
Now, Paige is wearing a white dress. The top is corset-esque with buttons up the front and lacing up the back. And it has like a bit of a lace patterning on the panels and a peplum ruffle along the bottom.
A very little one.
Yep. And then the skirt is 4 panels of white with the bottom one also having a ruffle. And it's like
I would call
sheer...
these tiers.
Yeah, but
'Cause
they're
they're
definitely
not-
stitched together.
Yes,
they're
but
not tiers.
they're not panels because a panel is vertical.
Not necessarily.
Well, I mean,
They're horizontal.
This is a ruffled tier skirt. Tiers are horizontal,
Sure.
like cakes.
Sure. I'll give it to you. Mm-hmm. And it's definitely a sheer fabric over a more opaque white underneath.
Yes.
She also has on a necklace that looks to be a bit of white leather cord with small little spikes on it.
It's almost a collar, really.
It is kind of a collar, but it's definitely a double wide necklace.
Yes.
That's been wrapped. And it's wrapped around itself so that it is crisscrossed so the 2 pieces of leather kind of form an X at her throat. Her hair is mostly down with just the 2 front bits, like where the bangs would be, kind of pulled back into like French braids. One might call them cornrows because they were raised French braids.
Okay.
As opposed,
I wouldn't call that.
They were like reverse French braids because you could see.
Oh yeah.
Because you know how like a French braid, all of the
Go
braiding
over,
is underneath. This was definitely a popped
a
out.
reverse.
Yeah.
Reverse braid.
Yeah. Which is why.
Inside out.
Yeah, which is why I was like, it's basically a cornrow, kind
It's not,
of.
though.
It's not exactly, but it whatever. Anyway, Piper is in a long sleeve green V-neck shirt that has some like vertical lines on the front.
Yeah, it's
and
like
at the elbows.
It
as
like
a
comes
pattern.
up the middle and then splits to make the neckline.
Yeah, it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I kind of enjoyed that. She has paired that with a lovely pair of jeans and a nice chunky belt buckle on a brown belt. Her hair is back in a braid that's held together by a light brown leather cord, and she's wearing a small cross necklace and some silver hoop little earrings.
And she's also got some bobby pins holding most of her bangs back.
Leo is in khaki pants with a white t-shirt under a long sleeve blue button down with the sleeves pushed up, as he is wont to do, and it looks like Leo has gotten a bit of a haircut because his hair is a bit more spiked than before.
Mm-hmm.
I like it a lot.
That's cool.
Like, it looks like they were like, your hair's getting a bit shaggy, let's clean this up.
Yeah.
And so now it's like, it's very aughts with the spikes, but
Yeah.
at least they didn't give him frosted tips, you know?
This is true.
But
oh
it's
gosh.
just the spikes.
No.
Yeah.
No frosted tips, please.
Yeah.
Not even in flashbacks.
Oh,
Please.
man. No.
Dear Lord. And by that I mean DER. No. Anyway, back to the conversation.
Yeah, so she
Piper-
asked how long the construction is going to be happening
And
for.
Piper says, they said 3 weeks, which means it'll be 3 months. And Paige hopes no demons attack and sends one of them flying through the window.
Leo, who is trying to, like, holding a picture against the wall, trying to make it go where it's supposed to go, tells them not to worry because the underworld has enough chaos that they're too busy fighting each other.
Piper hopes it lasts, saying she's almost forgotten what a normal life is like, and then tells Leo that the picture needs to be higher on the wall. And this is just hilarious because, like, the picture he's trying to measure it over, like, it's trying to go on top of another frame, and he's barely getting, like, halfway up that frame with the bottom of the frame he's holding. It's...
Yeah.
Oh.
This is literally a setup for a joke. That is the only reason this is happening, is it is a setup.
It's a very obvious setup.
Right. Because Leo says he needs a ladder, Paige tells him to just hover, and Piper says that they're not using magic unless they absolutely have to in order not to jinx anything.
How long has it been since we've seen Leo hovering? Has it been season 1?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah. I mean,
been a while.
pro continuity. That they remembered he could actually fucking do that.
Yeah. Yep. But Paige tells Piper to relax a little, saying, use it or lose it. And then Leo hovers up, holds the picture against the wall. Piper's like, yeah, okay, that's fine. Leo then marks the wall with a pencil and hovers back down. He wasn't even putting up the picture. He was just marking where it's supposed to go.
Yeah. You could have gotten a ladder. You're going to be back up there anyway.
Uh-huh.
And also, he basically just set it on top of the other photo. Like, there was no spacing. This is a bad setup.
So many things wrong with this.
Anyway, Paige tells Piper, see, no major disaster has struck, at which point Phoebe naturally walks in through the front door and yells about disaster having struck.
Yeah. She has added a pink suede jacket to her outfit, and
It's
like this jacket.
a bunch of triangular
It's like...
pieces that are stitched together or something, or maybe it's just like...
It's just kind of angled
Stitched.
fabric.
Yeah.
That kind of all comes to a point at the stomach.
Yeah.
So it's I like this jacket
also
a lot.
Bit big.
It is a little big, but I like it on her.
It's nice. It's a good contrast to the colors of her outfit.
Yeah, and I like the jacket with the skirt a lot.
Yes.
It works really nicely.
Yes.
So yeah,
It's
and
just a little tighter.
yeah, and when she takes off the jacket, we can see that the shirt, like I said, is trying to be a bit cropped in the front, and it shows off her tattoo on her stomach.
You mean the one on her hip?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
but it's like here.
It's like off to the side though.
It's
off to the side.
it's off to the side, but not by a whole lot.
No, not by a whole lot, but I'd say it's closer to her hip than being on her stomach. It's pretty low. Like, this is a tattoo that you would not have been able to hide with jeans in the early aughts.
This
Because
is true.
all jeans were super fucking lowriders.
That is very, very true. Anyway. So yeah, she tells them that they have a huge problem. Piper shoots a look to Paige, which I think was hilarious.
And then Phoebe tells them that Cole has tried contacting her again. Leo asks if there's been more whispering, but she's like, no, this time channeling through a TV psychic while I was at work.
And he sounded so desperate.
Piper asks if anyone else noticed, and Phoebe says that her highly suspicious assistant did, and then wonders how she's supposed to move on with her life when she keeps being haunted by his afterlife.
Piper asks Leo what he thinks, and Leo's like, you need to do something fast. And Piper's like, no, I mean, how do you think Cole is holding on? Leo guesses that because Cole is half demon, he's on some sort of astral plane. Where he comes up with this logic, I'm not completely sure. But for some reason, it's right.
Goodness knows. He's got all that white lighter know-how in his brain.
Yep. Phoebe says that they can't risk Cole contacting her again, and she has to figure out what he wants. Paige is like, duh, it's you that he wants, you dumbass.
Yeah.
She doesn't say it like that, but
no,
you know she wants to.
She says it in a very supportive manner.
Yes.
And kind of like, oh, this is a little bit sweet.
Like the only reason he's holding on is because he wants you.
Yeah, but she's
duh.
not like mean about it. She's like, oh, honey.
Yeah.
And then suddenly we hear a chiming sound, and Phoebe notices that Leo is frozen and points it out to Piper and asks why.
Piper walks over to him and like waves in front of his face, and she's like, I didn't do this. Paige goes and looks out the window, calls the girls over, and Piper and Phoebe go to the window, and we can see that all of the workers outside are frozen, as well as the birds in the sky and a helicopter just a bit off in the distance. Mm-hmm. Paige chastises Piper for using magic, and Piper's like, yeah, no, I could not have frozen all of this stuff.
We then hear a man's voice say that he can, and the girls spin around to see an older, chubby white dude with a goatee in gray robes.
Yes, gray on gray robes.
Yes,
it's like a dual
And I yelled, hey, Headmaster Charleston.
Yes, we will get there in a second. Phoebe asks who he is. He replies that he is the Angel of Destiny, and he's come to change theirs. And then we go to the opening credits, and I was like, interesting. Because I had completely forgotten about this particular thing.
Yeah.
Like, I knew how the season ended, but I couldn't remember this is how it started.
I will tell you exactly what I remembered about this episode before watching it again. I remembered the very last bit at the end. I remembered Paige's outfit and the construction workers and the lemonade scene.
I've seen those gift sets.
Yes. And I remembered Phoebe, like some of the Phoebe and Cole stuff. And that was it. I remembered none of the actual fucking plot of the episode. I didn't remember... Well, okay, no, that's not fair. I did remember Headmaster Charleston being in there. But I didn't remember the other special guest who we'll get to in a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I literally all I remembered was the gift sets from this episode.
Yeah.
Where I look at that Paige in that outfit going, I know I haven't seen that one yet. Mm-hmm. Like that was it.
Yep.
Anyway, so the Angel of Destiny is played by, is it Dakin?
I think so.
Dakin Matthews. He was born in Oakland, California in 1940. He is a total that guy, with 158 acting credits starting way back in 1985. Now, I remember first seeing him on the show My Two Dads back in the late 1980s. But, of course...
Which, sadly, is not about a gay couple.
No, it is not. But, of course, Kendra remembers him from Gilmore Girls because, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes the most sense.
And I will say, he pretty much does the exact same sort of character tone as Headmaster Charleston as he does here. I think... He's not a one-trick pony, per se, but he's very good at this one particular affect.
Yeah.
And that's what he's doing here.
Yeah. He was also on a few episodes of Desperate Housewives, for those who remember that show. He plays a judge or a reverend a lot.
Well, yes.
He is very, like... He's very good at being in a position of authority that is a soft position of authority. He's not a cop.
True.
You know, like, he doesn't do the cop thing, but he can be a judge.
Yes, and
he
generally...
a reverend. Like, that
generally, and also, he's very good at being a person in a position of authority who no one likes.
That too. Yeah.
He's very good at making people dislike him.
Yeah.
Anyway,
the credits tell us that we get both Cole and Daryl this episode. Made me very happy.
Daily Double.
Yes, very, very happy whenever Daryl is in an episode.
We come back to the girls backing away from the dude into the Wicker Room as Piper tries and fails to freeze him repeatedly.
Oh, and Paige's necklace isn't crisscrossed anymore. Now it's just 2 bands of leather across her neck. For some reason.
It probably just
Continuity.
shifted. It probably shifted and they didn't notice.
Yeah.
Anyway, Paige is freaking out that he's not freezing. Of course, Charleston tells them that they're wasting their time and he's beyond their powers. And he says it in this very annoying, lofty manner.
Yeah. The girls back into a wicker table and kind of fall into each other. And then Piper pushes the table out of the way and they continue to back up. And he's like, I pose no threat to you.
And Piper's like, bitch, yeah, last person we met who could freeze time was a demon.
He says that he's come to see them because of a demon, which is very rare, as the Angels of Destiny only intervene in extraordinary circumstances. And this is my favorite moment
This is the list he gives of extraordinary moments. Mozart at age 7. Michelangelo, don't know fucking when, but apparently didn't talk to him about the way women's boobs look. Albert Einstein is how he says it. And then there's a brief pause, and then he goes, Britney Spears.
Now, the best part about all of this is not only is the angel himself seemingly a little confused by all
No, he doesn't seem confused to me. He seems embarrassed.
A little bit, but Paige just kind of does the dog head tilt of like, huh? And I loved that so much. It was like the perfect button on that scene, and I loved it.
Yes.
I wish I had remembered it, but I'm kind of glad I didn't because I got to live it again.
Yeah, and the angle she's like at in the shot, you can see her top gapping a little bit.
Yeah.
At the boobas.
Yeah, a little bit.
But
that's how I knew she was wearing a bra.
Well, yeah. I saw that when she turned. I saw that when she turned around at some point, and I saw the back of it through the dress.
Yeah, it's a cute.
But it's completely invisible from the front. Yeah. Probably because it's white.
It's a blue lace.
Really?
Yeah, I paused.
It looked white from the back.
I paused to look because it looked kind of gray, but it looked like a weird gray, and I'm like,
I thought it was just like a slightly less bright white than the dress, because at some point we see the bra strap.
It's a very light blue, but it is a blue, because I paused and stared at her tits for a while. Don't ask. It was a thing.
I mean, they're lovely tits.
They are lovely tits. You know.
Anyway.
Phoebe says that she doesn't understand, and he tells them that the 3 of them, that by vanquishing the source of all evil, have fulfilled their shared destiny.
And then he also says that they did it much earlier than anticipated, and that some angels never thought that they'd actually do it, but that's besides the point.
Right, and Piper's reaction to this statement is the best. Do you know that gif of the guy with the blinky, I can't believe what I just heard eyes? Piper was the original of that gif in this moment.
Yep.
You kidding me? Did you just say what I think you just said?
He just negged them.
What? Yeah, I loved it so much. Anyway.
He then says that they are being offered a chance to chart a new destiny of their own design as a reward.
Paige questions him, and he says that they can choose to remain charmed with all of the witchly powers and demonic burdens, or... And he trails off, and Piper and Phoebe are both like, or
cake, or...
And he says that they can choose to give up their magic and live normal lives, that they'd wipe the slate clean, and no one would ever come after them again.
He then asks what they've chosen, and Piper yells at him that he can't freeze the whole world, drop a bombshell like this, and expect a quick decision. He
kind of
condescends to them that they don't understand the uniqueness of this opportunity, and Piper's like, yeah, that's besides the point. We need time to think about this.
Yeah, we need a bit of time. Paige of course, is like, why do we need to think?
Yeah, very Gryffindor fashion. She's like, no, we're not gonna.
Yeah, her answer is like, it's gonna be a thanks, but no thanks, right? Like, why? Why do you need to think about this?
And then neither Phoebe nor Piper say anything for a mo until Phoebe's like, well, as long as he's offering, we should talk it over.
Yeah, over here. And she then asks the angel to excuse them, and then she grabs Piper and pulls her like 3 feet away.
Yes, 3 feet to the left.
I thought thought it was hilarious. Like, she's kind of like,
Not even
over
into
here.
the dining room.
Nope.
Just over by that one wrought iron table.
Yep. Just over here. Paige follows, and the angel kind of walks off in the other direction. He winds up going to stand by the doors that lead outside.
Yeah. And Paige is clearly, like, just kind of gobsmacked by all of this.
Yeah. Paige is like, Phoebe, you love being a witch. What's changed? And Phoebe reminds her that she became the queen of the underworld and nearly died carrying baby Lucifer. Piper reminds Paige that they've been witches longer than she has, and says that while she's not discounting all the good that they've done and could still do, she isn't going to minimize the costs.
She mentions not being able to get pregnant because of what they've been doing, and Phoebe says that punching demons isn't as much fun as it used to be, which I swear was a line we've had previously.
Possibly, yeah.
And Paige asks what they're going to say.
The angel then cuts in, saying he'll grant them a small bit of time, since other people's destinies are tied to theirs, and that he'll take a majority rule answer. So 2 out of the 3 will decide, so they must consider wisely.
Mm-hmm.
He then notices a purse on the table.
Like a denim
like
purse
a denim
of something?
purse just sitting on the table, and he kind of looks at it a moment and then turns around and says, well, what happens next might help you decide, and then he disappears in a burst of light that goes out the window.
Yeah, it goes out the front window, we should mention. It goes like through
the house,
living room.
out the front window. And then everything unfreezes because we can hear the construction starting up outside and the helicopter blades whirring, and then the phone rings.
Leo comes in from the living room, pointing at Piper and asking if she froze him, and she's just like kind of nonchalantly says, "No, sweetheart, the Angel of Destiny did that."
No, dear. He, of course, questions who that is, which I think is very funny that he has no idea at this moment.
Yeah.
Piper picks up the phone, tells Leo to check with the elders and make sure that the Angel of Destiny is, for real. And he's like, don't question it, just go. And he orbs out. Piper answers the phone.
It's Daryl!
Yay!
He's wearing a lovely black suit, red shirt, red pattern tie, and is walking down a sidewalk with purpose.
And I love this outfit on him. I think so far this is one of my favorite outfits on him.
It contrasts nicely with his car, too. Which is blue.
Yes, it was. But I really like him in a dark red shirt. Yeah. It looks really nice.
It really warms up his skin tone.
Yeah, like he looks good in like a dark jewel tone.
Yeah, the gray suits. The brown suits haven't been doing anything.
No, I do not like him in a brown suit.
Far too 80s.
I don't mind the gray suit, but I like a black suit better.
Now, if he did a brown suit with a nice vibrant sort of blue, that could work.
Maybe.
Like a blue shirt, possibly a blue tie. Maybe. But like, certainly not the style of suit that we're getting in this era.
Yeah, no.
Like a slimmer lapel, slimmer cut, brown suit would be fine, as long as it had like a nice blue with it.
But it has to be a dark brown.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
A light brown does nothing
for anyone. Yeah.
Anyway, this scene is going to cut back and forth between the girls at the house and Daryl outside. He tells Piper not to talk, just listen.
So she immediately asks what's wrong.
Yeah. So she immediately talks, and he's like, you're about to be put under surveillance. We see him walking up to his car. Again, it is blue.
Correct.
And Piper waves her sisters over to the phone and holds it kind of out, even though they probably can't hear much because no speaker function.
Yeah.
And
he informs them that an FBI agent named Jackman...
Hugh?
No. Found their names coming up on way too many witness lists in unsolved cases.
Phoebe asks what that means, again breaking the rule of don't talk, just listen. And Daryl says that he doesn't know, but he's going to try to find out, and warns them against using magic in the meantime. Then he hangs up, and Paige wonders if they're screwed.
Piper says that they might be, but she doesn't think that the angel would take destiny out of their hands. And then Phoebe speaks in slightly wrong Pig Latin, saying Ixnay on the angel nay talk, and they head for the stairs. Now, Pig Latin, I don't know if you've used it. I used to use Pig Latin all the time when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So while Ixnay is correct for nix, which means to veto, reject, or no, or nothing.
Yeah.
The word angel should not have been angel nay. It should have either been angel yay, angel way, angel a, or gelinay. Because that's how Pig Latin works.
You basically swap the first... You put the first syllable at the end of the word.
You put the first letter
at
the end of the word and then add AY. at
Right.
A.
Okay.
So Nix becomes
I've also seen it happen with like the first syllable.
Yeah, it can be the first syllable as well.
Hence Jelene.
Well, because it starts with a vowel.
Yeah.
If it starts with a vowel, especially if it starts with an A,
Mm-hmm.
you would do the first syllable. So angel becomes gel, an A. Or it would just be angel yay because you'd add a Y,
Yeah.
or angel way because you'd add a W. Or just adding the AY at the end, so it'd be angel A. I know way too much about Pig Latin.
No, I get that. You know way too much about a lot of stuff.
I do.
As do I, frankly.
Yeah.
Anyway, we cut to outside as a white van with dark blue words on it spelling out SFB Telecom on the hood
Yeah.
pulls up.
Now, I'm not sure how he got to where he's parked with all the construction happening, but a la convenience, I guess.
Yeah.
Because, like, there's no way that he just pulled up to that spot. He would have had to, like, pull up,
Back
in
into
to-
go into a driveway and then back
yeah.
out and then like pull forward to the curb or something.
Yeah, like, there was no simple way for him to be there.
And a
Anyway.
dude wearing some nice dark pants, dark red plaid shirt, tool belt, white hard hat, gets out of the front of the van and goes into the back of the van.
Yeah, he goes in, shutting the door behind him, and we have a shot of pure black for a moment, and I was like, I was confused for a second, because I was like, he's getting into a pure black, like, no lights, whatever, and then he sits down and is like, oh, no, there is light, they were just doing a transition shot.
Yeah.
Got it. But it jarred me for a second.
And
So-
when the lights come back on, we finally see his face, and oh hey, it's Bruce Campbell.
Yes, the one and only dick of a man, Bruce Campbell. He was born in Birmingham, Michigan in 1958, and he surprisingly only has 127 acting credits. Those credits start back in 1972, though, so he's been acting for a very long time. His most memorable role is, of course, Ash in the Evil Dead horror movies, the comedy offshoot Army of Darkness, and the Ash vs. the Evil Dead TV show. But I personally loved him as Sam Axe on Burn Notice. I still miss that show. Have you seen that show?
I've seen bits and pieces.
We'll have to watch that show at some point.
I don't know, that's up my alley.
I love that show.
Anyway,
Even
though we don't know it 100% yet, we can assume that this is FBI agent Jackman.
yes.
Who?
Yeah. There is
Jackman.
yes. There is a lot of electronic equipment set up in the back of the van. He flips a couple switches. He takes off the construction helmet and he puts on some headphones and he opens up a case and there's a shot of outside of the manor showing up on a small screen inside this case, and you can tell that this is a shot that's supposedly taken from the hood of the van.
Yeah.
He zooms in on the house
And starts targeting various windows before settling on one upstairs. Not even in the attic.
Nope.
No.
He settles on the second floor.
He settles on, I think that's Phoebe's bedroom.
Yeah, it's
If I'm remembering the
remember.
layout correctly.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the bedrooms. And then we hear the girls' voices in his earphones. We hear Paige say she doesn't understand how going upstairs is going to help. And then Phoebe's voice says it's pretty simple before loud music blares through the headphones and he immediately turns the volume down and kind of moves the headphones off his ears. Now, IMDb says that there's an Ozzy Osbourne song playing in this episode, and I'm assuming this is where that song would be because it's the only thing that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I'm going to link to the video for the song Gets Me Through, which is the song that IMDb says is played here. But the song on Netflix sounds a bit like the beginning of Marilyn Manson's version of Beautiful People without the lyrics. It's that heavy guitar riff.
Yeah,
at the
it's
beginning.
basically just some not quite heavy metal, but heavy rock.
Yeah. But that's what I thought. I was like, are they playing Beautiful People right now? And it's like, no, it's just like that heavy guitar riff, that same chord progression.
Yeah.
Over and over, kind of.
I thought I heard
little
some words,
change up,
but they were
but
really garbled, and I
I
couldn't
didn't
tell
hear
what
any
they were.
words, but
Maybe that was just my brain filling them in.
could be.
Anyway.
But I just thought it was very interesting, and then I kind of went down an Ozzy Osbourne rabbit hole, and have fallen in love with the song "Dreamer" again.
Yeah.
Such a good song. I missed that song. Anyway,
I remember catching some bits of whatever pre-Kardashian TV show his family had.
Oh, you mean the Osbournes?
Yes.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember the name of it.
It's their name.
I understand that. I wasn't sure if there was more to it.
Nope. Just the Osbournes.
Anyway, it was a lot of Ozzy kind of being confused about what was going on, which was the main reason I watched.
Yeah, I watched a couple of episodes of that, and then I realized that it was a lot of him screaming and a lot of his daughter being mad at him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't need this drama.
Yeah, no, I barely remember even seeing the son. Sharon would occasionally, like, yell back, but without any real anger in it. He'd be yelling because he was confused, and his daughter would be yelling because she was angry, and the son was basically MIA.
Yeah. Like, and then they had, I know they've got another daughter, but she wasn't in the show at all.
No.
But, like, it's one of those, like, I don't need this kind of drama. I'd rather have other drama.
Yeah.
I can't do reality TV drama.
Yeah, no.
I just can't do it.
No.
Like, I can't even watch Survivor anymore.
Yeah, no. I've never been a huge reality TV fan. It was just real fun watching Ozzy be confused.
I mean...
And always having a drink in his hand.
Yeah. That man has done some heavy, heavy drugs.
Oh, boy. I mean, you have to bite the head off of a bat.
Nope. He was completely sober when he did that.
I mean, knowing what drugs are like probably helps.
Anyway.
Because, like, oh, yeah, this isn't going to have any impact on my psyche. Not compared to the other shit I've done.
Anyway,
we cut inside the attic as Phoebe sits a lovely boom box on top of a hat box stacked with books, pointing out the attic window to the street.
Phoebe says that since Piper and Paige have been home all day, the FBI guy wouldn't have had time to bug the inside of the house. Therefore, he's got to be listening from outside. Because, immediately she assumes he's going to be listening, and he just happens to be listening at that moment.
I mean...
A la convenience.
I would say the convenience is that he wouldn't have managed to do this, bug the house yesterday.
Or that he wouldn't have already been sitting out there when they told Leo to hover.
But of course, because it's Daryl informing them, we have to assume that Daryl would have, like, the most current knowledge, which is that he will be doing surveillance.
Yes, that he is on his way to you now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway.
Because I guess the FBI has to, like, at least mention it to local law enforcement.
Maybe.
Like, in the interests of interdepartmental cooperation, they have to be like, hey, just to let you know, we have jurisdiction on this, but we will be doing this, and we wanted you guys not to freak out.
So that when you get calls about a weird van sitting outside a house,
yes,
you'll know it's us.
Uh-huh. Anyway, Phoebe walks over to the Book of Shadows, and Piper says it's ironic that they've been presented with the opportunity to give up their powers, and now they can't even use them.
A la convenience? Plot device? Who'd have thunk it?
Text painting?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Phoebe says that not using their powers doesn't mean they won't be exposed, since they still have Cole to worry about.
Paige says that Phoebe can't contact her dead demon husband, but Phoebe says that if she doesn't, he will, and they'll be dealing with the same thing they dealt with the year before. Piper, of course, realizes that she's right, as Phoebe turns to the Find a Lost Love spell in the book. She says that the spell should astral herself to Cole's soul. Paige wonders if he actually has one, and Phoebe wonders what else could be calling for her, if not his soul.
She says that she and Cole both need closure. Piper says that she and Paige will create a distraction outside to cover any quote-unquote fireworks inside. Paige then, of course, tells Phoebe to be careful. She and Piper walk off, and we get one last shot of the spell in the book.
Outside, workers are putting very large white pipes into the ground, but they're not large enough to be drainage pipes for, like, major storm drainage. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of that construction lately, because that's been happening nearby.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. Hopefully that will mean the streets won't flood.
Yeah. And since they already finished, they've just re-poured sidewalks and some crosswalk areas, like, on my street. They're moving eastward.
Nice. Yeah, when I was a kid, they tore up the entire street that we lived on, like the little cross street, and put in huge, like, the pipes that they're putting in here are like maybe 3 feet by 3 foot. Like
Okay, because
I know I'm putting small in my hands because I'm not gonna go like this. But like they're maybe like 3.
They look smaller than that. They look like foot and a half to me.
I'd say they're like 3 foot diameter. Like they're not very big. Like they're beefy pipes, but they're not like huge.
They're also made of PVC because ain't nobody got budget for that.
Well, yes. But when I was a kid, the pipes that they put into our ground to help with the street won't get flooded anymore, which I hope that they would do that by my apartment, because while I signed up to live in an apartment with a pool, this was not what I meant.
Yeah, it's not a seasonal pool.
When it rains, you get 3 feet of water outside. That's a pool, right?
Gosh, I just hope the people in the garden level apartment don't get flooded a bunch.
Well, couldn't tell you. But anyway, but the pipes that they put in when I was a kid in where I lived then were like 15-foot diameter. Like they were huge.
Diameter?
Yeah.
You mean length?
No.
15-foot diameter?
Yeah, the hole.
That doesn't sound real.
Yeah. They were huge. It was basically the size of the street. Just right down the middle of the street. Huge pipe.
That's insane.
Yeah. Because then the pipe would fill up with the water and it wouldn't flood the street.
Mm-hmm.
Because we would literally, when I was a kid, the street would flood, and you know how tall a fire hydrant is?
Yes.
Normally?
Yes, he pees on them all the time.
Right. Imagine that fire hydrant is completely covered by the water when it rains.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, like it was bad. It was real bad. And so they put in these huge drainage pipes, and that stopped happening. Because all that water, instead of being on the street, was under the ground.
Mm-hmm.
But it worked.
Yeah, right now they're putting in pipes all along the one road, and normally when there's like a little park with a big pond, very small lake.
Mm-hmm.
And when it rains heavily, you really see the difference in water height in that little pond.
Yeah.
Because like some of the saplings that are closer to the waterfront, and now there's a drop. There's like, you can see some like stacked limestone border all around the edge. It's higher in some places than in others, but some of those saplings that are like a couple of feet from the actual border will get, the roots will be completely submerged, and it just looks like they're growing out of the water.
Yeah.
Like in a swamp in Louisiana.
Yep.
And there's a slightly raised sort of platform where people who want to like fish or have a picnic right by the water can be, and in real heavy rains,
it's gone.
That will be completely submerged.
Yeah. And
there's a bridge on the other side. That one tends to get more submerged often.
There was a little park that I remember by my my old apartment when I was growing up there was like a little divot in the ground that was basically for like when it snowed, that would be like where you'd like sled into this little hole in the ground. And I remember one of the first times that we were out when it was raining real heavy, that entire thing was so filled with water that like, now mind you, this was like maybe like a 5-foot drop basically. It wasn't a very like deep drop, but it was a really big drop.
Yeah.
Because that was like where all the snow would accumulate, so that's where you'd build your snowmen and, you know, you'd like bring your sleds around and all that stuff. But like that entire thing was filled with water, and the water was starting to creep up into the playground. And I'm like, this is not good.
No. Like,
this is not what is... No.
No. Where I used to live, there was the underpass under the train tracks. And I remember there was a year, this would have been like 2009, 2010, somewhere in there, I think. And I was home from college, and my mother and I were driving back from something... Oh, you know what? It was the Audra McDonald concert. I remember this now, because I'm about to go to another one in March.
Nice.
And I was driving back from Oak Park, and there was a train. So I'm just like, yeah, we'll go through the underpass, like, no problem. And go through, And we see, as we come through it, the giant pipe just on the other side, gushing water. Like, there was a series of thunderstorms, like, every, 2 weeks that year. Mm-hmm. And this was maybe the first or second of them.
Mm-hmm.
And 5 minutes later, you could not drive through it. I was just like, wow, that was really good timing. And my mom's like, that was a really stupid decision. I'm like, but it worked.
Yep. Yeah, there was a couple of different underpasses.
We had trucks
where...
there was a reason that, the big semis generally were not allowed to go through that underpass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There we had a couple of underpasses, that if it had been raining for longer than 10 minutes, you knew not to go there.
Yeah.
Because even if it was a light rain, you just didn't bother because it was going to be flooded.
Yeah.
And there was just no getting around it.
Oh, yeah. The other week, we had one of those thunderstorms, and I was at a bowling alley. Thank goodness we were in a bowling alley. Pleasantville, baby.
Yep.
And someone comes in and makes an announcement on the PA that if you're parked near the middle of the lot, you need to move your car. Because for some reason, it's not draining. And so all of these cars in the middle are just slowly starting to creep up. It was a couple inches. And I was like, I'm not really close to the middle. This shouldn't be a problem. Mm-hmm. And also my car's really high off the ground, so it shouldn't be a problem. And by the time I left, I didn't do all 3 games that night, but when I left, I'm looking and it's halfway up my tires.
Yeah.
I still had at least on one side, it was kind of tilted. So it was halfway up on the low side.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the high side, it was maybe a quarter. And so I'm just well, I'm taking off my shoes to wade through that so I can get into my fucking car.
Yeah.
And there was a car parked 3 spots away from me, kind of into the deeper stuff, where it was pretty much just at the door already.
Yeah.
Just
now imagine that outside my apartment.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens outside my apartment.
I've seen your videos.
Yeah. It's nuts.
Yes.
It's absolutely nuts.
Anyway, are we done with this tangent?
I think we're done with this tangent. Let's get back to the show.
Yeah.
Inside, Piper is looking out the window as Paige walks in to view, carrying a tray with a pitcher of lemonade.
Think Kool-Aid Man shape pitcher.
Yeah. And some stacks of clear plastic cups.
Paige starts to joke about spiking the lemonade as she sets it on the console table behind the couch, but Piper shushes her and says that phone company van looks suspicious because it wasn't there earlier and there are no cones around it.
Paige wonders why that's what she's basing it on, and Piper's like, it's the best I've got.
Yep. Paige then asks why she doesn't just, and then makes the motion for freezing, the street.
Yeah, she kind of wiggles her fingers. And Piper says that someone might drive around the corner mid-finger wiggle.
Well, she wiggles her fingers as well. She doesn't say finger wiggle.
Yes, but it was just... I love this scene, and I want this as a GIF. Yes. I have not seen this particular scene as a GIF, but I want it as a GIF.
Yeah. She then reaches for the top of Paige's outfit and unhooks the first button and tells Paige to use her God-given magic, and then kind of pushes her boobs up a little bit.
Which does nothing because she's wearing a bra.
Yep.
But she tells her to go, and Paige turns, and this is where I noticed, for positive, that the bra was blue, because when she bends down to pick up the tray.
With her, kind of bewildered expression of, what?
Yeah, why did you just grope me? What is happening?
Did my sister just touch my boobs?
Yeah. But yeah, that was the secondary scene where I paused and I was like, it is blue, right?
Yeah.
And I paused, and so I was again staring at her boobs for a while. But yeah.
And then we cut to my favorite shot of the entire episode. It's just a beautiful piece of cinematography.
And it is so unbelievable.
Yeah. So we start off on the stairs where we see Paige's feet coming down the stairs from the front door. And her skirt swaying gently from side to side. This is all in slow-mo.
Yep.
And then pans up, we see the lemonade, the stacked cups, her boobs, and then her face looking down at where her feet are, just very daintily.
Mm-hmm.
And then we turn around and we see a bunch of construction workers
all men
look up all men. I swear that one Asian one looked really familiar. Like, he's that guy, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I looked in the cast list, and he's not in there, so I don't know who he is.
No.
He just looked super familiar. And there's a wolf whistle,
Yeah.
and they all stop what they're doing.
And Paige asks if any of them would like a little cool down.
Yeah, she puts on a voice. It's
And then they
great.
all rush over. Like, all of them abandon their work.
Yep. Even the
Because
dudes operating
cute
the
girl.
crane.
Because cute girl. They rush over.
Hot girl.
They come rushing over,
lemonade.
grabbing at the cups, and she's like, "Oh, don't rush. There's enough for everyone."
There's definitely not. It's not
There's
that big a
really
picture.
not. There's not that big of a picture, and there aren't enough glasses for everyone that's crowding
Yeah,
around
I saw
her.
one whole. So looking at the stack of glasses, I thought they were the little like plastic low ballers
No.
that you get. No, they are full size fucking plastic glasses.
Yeah, full size glasses.
What?
Yeah. So
And there's maybe 20 dudes.
Yeah.
This
We
is not
then
enough.
see Piper walk onto the road. She's a bit down the street by the van, and she kind of smiles back at Paige with this, like, you're
get
doing
him,
so
girl.
good.
You get him, girl.
But, like, I'm assuming she snuck out the house via the back and came down the alley.
That's what I'm assuming.
Because, like, she didn't come out the front of the house.
No, of course not.
So she goes over to the van, and we see her walk past the front window
Yeah.
of the van, come around to the back of the door, and come around to the back of the van, open the door, and she quickly freezes the guy inside as he turns toward her. So he absolutely saw her.
No, he didn't. His brain could not have processed it that fast. His eyes had just started to land on her when she froze him.
All right. So she freezes him, closes the door, and then this is my favorite little moment that, again, it's one of those where I'm glad I didn't remember it, so I got to relive it. Is she signals up to the house by twitching her nose.
Mm-hmm.
We have a cute little Bewitched moment.
Yep.
It was adorable.
Yep. Up in the attic, Phoebe turns off the music for some reason.
Yeah, what? You can't do magic with the music running?
We've already established that only witches can say spells and have them matter. So why would a recording of another voice doing music affect any spell?
I just don't understand why. Like, I understand the having to freeze the dude outside. Fine, sure, okay. I don't understand why she had to turn the music off
She didn't.
to say the spell. Like, there's literally no reason other
There's
than
none.
a la convenience and setting up for later.
None. Absolutely none.
Anyway.
Anyway, she sits in a circle of candles, puts her butt and then one hip on a
On a
little
pillow.
and reads a spell from the Book of Shadows.
Wither, my love, wherever you be, through time and space, take my heart near to thee.
Was it near or was it nearer?
I don't remember.
Because the phrasing just reminded me of, like, nearer my heart to thee.
Possibly.
Like, I forget what that's from, but I think it's a
Sounds
song.
like Shakespeare.
It might not be.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
I think it's a song.
it might be
A hymn?
Might be a hymn.
It is a hymn. That's the name of a hymn. Why do I know the name of a hymn?
I don't know.
I should know the name of her.
Yes. Anyway, she then collapses to the floor.
And we get a lovely, like, spinning shot. Like, this would have been appropriate for a newspaper, like a newspaper cartoon that spins and suddenly you get the headline. Yeah.
Yeah.
Phoebe then appears on an astral plane that looks like a canyon with fire, jagged rocks, a nice red sky,
Yep.
loud scary noises.
She screams at one of said scary noises, turns to run, and immediately bumps into Cole.
Who is looking real worse for the wear.
Yeah, he's in all black clothes. His hair is grown out a bit, but not too much. And he's got some scruff on his face, but
And
again,
he's also
not too much.
very sweaty.
He's very, very
And
sweaty.
a little dirty. Not very, but a little.
Yeah.
He grabs her, asking why she's there. No one's allowed to be there. And she's like, where is here?
Yeah, where are we? And then a loud
There is
growl.
where?
Yeah. And then a loud growl is heard. And he says that they have to move fast. And he grabs her hand and starts rushing her toward a rock staircase.
It reminded me of something out of Hook.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen Hook, at least not in a very long time.
Okay.
We then see a snake-like creature.
It looks like a squid tentacle to me.
Yeah, it was like a pink, weird sucker.
Yeah, it looked like something out of that movie with David Duchovny and Orlando. What you know who I mean? Evolution.
Okay.
Orlando
Jones?
Yes, there we go. Thank you.
Yeah.
Like, it's not fucking Bloom, that's for goddamn sure.
Nope.
But no, it's a good movie.
I think I own it. I've just never seen it.
What's the one line where they're like, cells are bad. Our uncle lives in a cell. He can only leave it for 1 hour a day. When it was a biology essay report.
I don't know.
Oh my god.
Don't know.
It's the only reason why I know the main active ingredient in Head and Shoulders is selenium.
Okie dokie then. Anyway, so this snake-like tentacle-y creature pokes out of the ground, snaps at Phoebe's feet. It misses and goes back underground. And
there's like some CG rock that it snaps off or something.
yeah. Cole says that they won't be safe for very long as they have to keep moving in order to not be devoured by the beast for all eternity.
There's a little bit of a beat, and then Phoebe hugs him, and he's like, I knew you'd hear my cries, and then she pulls back.
He tells her that she did the right thing, that the source is gone and has been devoured, and says that they're in the wasteland where all vanquished demons end up so the beast can feed on their powers.
So the beast is a good guy? Or at least a neutral?
I'm gonna go with a neutral.
Yeah, it's a chaotic neutral.
Yeah. It's just like, I'm just here to take the power away. Mm-hmm. I don't use the power, I just take it from
No, it must like break them down or something.
Yeah.
It's maybe like a Sarlacc, but for powers.
Sure.
The Sarlacc pit?
Yeah.
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 Except the CGI'd version that adds all of those fucking tentacles.
Sure.
And the beak.
Phoebe asks why he's there. He says he's holding on to their love, saying that a demon with a soul is unique in the cosmos. And the way he says it, I'm like, there's that accent coming through.
Yeah.
But he says that he's been able to cling to the wasteland and not move on. And she's like, oh, but that's not healthy. I just love
a little bit of her job like pokes through right
God,
there.
I loved it so much. She says that it's not healthy to not move on and that everyone needs to do it sooner or later. And
he's like, that's easy for you to say. You'll go to the good place.
And
I'm like, along with Eleanor Shellstrop's mom.
Yeah, and I immediately laughed because I was like, but the good place is not.
Yes, he's in the bad place.
Yeah.
And then there's a scream and we see basically a blurry demon dude pop out of the clouds in the sky. And then there's like you remember that meteor in 2012 in Russia that got on all of the dash cams where it like exploded in midair?
Yep.
That kind of happens, except what we're left with is a bunch of shiny glowy lights that then fall and end up in a rectangular area on the sand.
Yeah, and I immediately was like, oh, look, D&D. Because that's where my brain goes. But remember this.
Wait, how is that D&D?
Because you have a grid for, like, your map is all a grid, and so it's 5 foot blocks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. I'll have to get you to play D&D sometime.
I'm not. I like having a script. Like, meandering roleplay is not my shtick.
We'll see. Anyway, but yeah, so this scene of the demon falling through the sky, bursting into fire, and then the bolt of light hitting the ground is the same shot that we will get every time this happens.
Except I think they reverse it once. Like, they flip it.
Yeah, they flip the thing so it's coming from a different angle. But it is literally the same shot. They did this shot once and then just reused it every time. So these little orbs of light swirl around the ground, and then the snake creature pokes out of the ground and sucks up the light like a little vacuum.
And it glows for a little bit.
Yeah.
It then goes back under, and we see the little hole it came up out of, which for some reason we don't get again. Like, when it disappears into the sand again, it's just gone.
Yeah. The power apparently makes the hole more visible.
Anyway, Phoebe says that Cole can't run from that forever.
He says that he's been calling her so that she can save him, save them.
Mm-hmm. She asks how, and he tells her to get Leo to get the grimoire and use the resurrection spell that the wizard was after to bring him back.
She, of course, questions him, and he's like, it's easy, I can totally walk you through it. And then she turns her back on him. He asks what's wrong, and she's like, I can't use dark magic again. I won't.
Never mind that they threw the fucking grimoire into a goddamn volcano.
Uh-huh.
Now, I'm not stupid enough to think that that would destroy it, but it would certainly make it inaccessible to everyone.
Uh-huh. Just a bit. He asks if she's not going to do it for them, and she turns back to him, but hesitates to answer, and then the creature pokes out of the rock she's standing on and grabs her by the leg.
Was it out of the rock or was it from the ground below? Because it was like pulling her off of the rock.
It was like right at the edge of the rock.
I don't think it was.
Yeah, it kind of was.
No, I thought it was coming from the ground because it was like pulling her off at an angle and she was about to fall off of the rock. It was like a 45 or 30
up
degree
real close to the...
Oh yeah, it did.
Okay, so it snaked up real close to the rock and
did.
Grabbed her.
It did a sneak.
Yeah, it did a sneaky snake.
The snake did a sneak.
Yes. Anyway, so it grabs her by the leg. He cries out for her, and he grabs on her arms, and I immediately was like, please don't pull her arms out of the sockets. That would be bad. Even though
I've
she's
had that.
astral.
I've had that happen. Well, almost.
not good.
I've almost had that happen. I nearly got my shoulder dislocated by a German Shepherd.
Oh, man. That's not good.
Yeah. She was trying to eat Blue.
Oh, well, all right then.
Uh-huh.
Then you
Yeah,
stopped
and there was
that
no
German
sign
Shepherd.
about an invisible fence or any of that nonsense. She was just in her front yard,
Yeah.
like coming around from behind the garage.
Yeah, no, you stay away from a dog.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so she begs him to help her, saying, use your powers! And he's like, I don't have any!
And he's even sweatier now.
Yeah.
And then a second tentacle comes out of the ground next to the first one and wraps around Phoebe's waist, and she screams.
Like,
and now,
guttural scream.
yes, very high-pitched, very nice.
Yeah.
And we cut to the attic, and we get a repeat of the exact same scream, IRL.
Yes.
Again. So, Alyssa, great job replicating that. It was excellent.
Yes.
And she's, of
She's
course...
still on the floor, still completely out of it. She does the scream. Piper and Paige come running in. We cut outside to FBI guy that we don't know is FBI guy yet. Unfreezing. He throws his headphones when Phoebe screams again.
Yeah.
Like, it hits him in the ears. And he just, and chucks him off. Mm-hmm. And then we cut back up to the attic. Paige says that something is hurting her. Piper says something is killing her. And then she goes to look in the Book of Shadows for the reversal spell. Why the page had flipped, I don't know.
No, we saw it flip because there was like a wind when the shot
Is
went
that
swirling.
okay? Then I missed that.
Yeah.
So Piper and Paige read out the reversal spell together, which is, return thy love wherever she be, through time and space, bring her back to me.
Mm-hmm. We cut to the astral plane where Phoebe disappears and the tentacles close on nothing and then go back underground. Cole's a bit surprised but mostly relieved.
Mm-hmm. We cut back to the attic as Phoebe returns to her body. She sits up with a jolt and a gasp. And Piper says, you're okay. Phoebe then questions, like, what was I thinking? And we hear the doorbell ring and a loud knock. And Paige is like, I hope the freeze didn't wear off.
That was fast.
That was super fast. And, again, we are in the attic, but hearing a knock from the front door.
Yes, but remember, that front window, right above the front door.
I know, but it's
they've leaned out that window to, like, talk to people at the front door before.
I know, but it's still
Didn't
weird.
Paige, like, nearly fall on Daryl that one time? Yeah.
Yes, she did.
That was recent. That was, like, 2 episodes ago or something.
It was definitely in this season.
Yep.
Can tell you that much.
Uh-huh.
Anyway.
We cut over to the foyer. Piper, Phoebe, and Paige go to the door. Piper opens it. And Bruce Campbell holds up his badge.
The man from the van.
And says, Agent Jackman, FBI. And I wanted to say, who?
Like, we should talk. And then we go to commercial break. And we come back to the dining room as Jackman puts a thick folder labeled Halliwell.
It's barely even a folder. It's basically like a giant stack of paper with like the prongs coming up through to the front, which is like blue plastic. It's a honker.
Yeah, it's basically just a file.
It's like a file of facts.
Yeah, it's a stack.
It's a stack.
It's a stack with a cover.
Yes.
He puts it on the table. It is labeled Halliwell. He slides it down to them at the other side of the table.
Like he's a barman with a drink.
Phoebe is sitting in a chair. Piper is standing behind a chair at the head of the table.
Yeah.
And Paige is sitting on the table on the other side of Phoebe.
Yep. And her bra strap has fallen down.
But this just shows, like, how they are as a family now.
Yeah.
It's like, Phoebe's like, I'm just going to sit and be comfy. And Piper is all like, I'm going to take charge and stand here in the authoritative spot. And Paige is like, I'm just going to sit on the table and be cute.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of how it worked.
Jackman says that the folder is just a copy, and they open it to find photos of themselves being spied on.
Yeah, definitely surveillance photos.
Yeah. Phoebe doesn't think this is the best way for him to gain their trust, and he's like, yeah, I've had that file for 6 months. I haven't exposed you yet.
Paige asks what he could expose them as, and he's like, well, the only logical explanation for all of the unsolved cases, missing persons, and mysterious deaths is that you're witches. Because that's the only logical explanation.
Yeah. Piper tells him to prove it, and so he gets out a tape recorder and presses play, and we hear the scene that happened just before commercial as the girls say the spell to bring Phoebe back, which, like, he legit knocked on the door 5 seconds after that.
Yeah.
How do you eject tape? Like, you have to stop recording tape, eject tape, and then walk to the... It's just too fast.
Yeah, no. There is absolutely no way that would have happened.
Anyway, he stops the tape. Piper's like, that doesn't prove anything.
He's like, yeah, no, but it implies everything, especially when coupled with the file. And then he looks at Piper and says, do you really think your newspaper won't run this story? And Phoebe's just like, what do you want?
He says he wants their help in catching a serial killing witch hunter, as he specializes in occult-style killings, and that's why he's been watching them.
Piper says she's heard enough and then goes to freeze him. He doesn't freeze. They're a little confused, and he pulls an amulet out of his shirt, saying that he was prepared this time and that there's only a few of these amulets in the world, and I got this one off the witch hunter that we're after.
Yeah. He tucks it back under his shirt and then hands the girls a photo of said witch hunter. He tells them that her name is Selena, and he's traced her genealogy back to the witch trials.
Now, since we have a name and a face, I might as well tell you about her now. Selena is played by Samantha Shelton. She was born in Los Angeles in 1978, and she has 37 acting credits between 1998 and 2017, and she had 2 different parts.
Two on Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
The first one was that episode where Rory has her coming out party, and she's the, like, drunk girl who's been doing this a bunch. And the second one is in Bridesmaids Revisited, which was where Rory finds out that Logan has been sleeping with all of his sister's bridesmaids.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yep.
Anyway, so...
Spoilers for Gilmore Girls, I guess?
Apparently so.
Anyway, Jackman says that he thinks killing witches is in Selena's blood, and that it's what she lives for, and that she's burnt her last 3 victims at the stake.
Piper asks why he's telling them, and he's like, well, I thought that you were going to be her next victims, but, you know, now that I know who you are and what you can do, that means you can help me find her before she kills again.
Yeah.
Phoebe asks if he knows where she is, and he's like, well, I had her in custody for a while, but she got away. And then he pulls out
Doesn't someone say, I bet she did?
Nah, I don't remember.
Ah.
I didn't hear that. But he pulls out a plastic evidence bag of stuff, puts it on the table, and says that these are Selena's personal belongings, and, you know, you can use your powers to find her. And my immediate thought was, nobody handed this to Phoebe.
Yeah.
At all. I'm just putting this out there. It's, you know, spoilers for the entirety of the episode. But Phoebe does not touch these items at all.
Nope. Which you think would be the easiest way to get that.
Uh-huh. You'd think so.
But of course, then she would have to have a premonition of something that he doesn't want them to see.
Yeah.
So, obviously,
we can't have her touch them. Yeah. No. Because that would make this, you know, that would defeat the whole purpose of this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so he says that he'll make sure that the file disappears forever if they help him, and then he pulls out his card saying that they can figure out what happens if they don't help him. He grabs his bag, tells them to call him, and he leaves. Paige immediately picks up the card and goes, I don't trust him.
Piper agrees with her, and Phoebe wonders if they shouldn't take the offer from the Angel of Destiny. Paige says that they would be free, but so would Selena, and she worries that she might be a warlock.
Phoebe says that warlocks don't burn witches at the stake, they just steal their powers. And Paige is like, yeah, powers, those things that we were given to do good. Paige and Phoebe start arguing about the idea of throwing away their powers, rehashing all the bad shit that happened to them recently, and Piper is finally able to shut them up by saying they need to focus.
Paige asks what Piper thinks, and Piper says they need to see this through. So she sends Paige to the attic with Selena's stuff, saying they'll meet her there, and Paige heads off.
With a shoe, which I thought was very funny.
Yeah, and she kind of swats at her butt.
Yeah. Piper then calls for Leo and is like, it's okay to orb. And so he orbs in. He asks about the FBI agent, and Piper's like, yeah, no, we're already busted, but he's asking for our help. Phoebe asks about the Angel of Destiny, and Leo says that both the Angel and the offer are legit.
So Piper asks him to get Daryl and make sure that Jackman is also legit. She mentions that they have a witch hunter to find. Leo looks concerned, but she just tells him not to ask, just go. And Leo orbs out.
Phoebe then moans. Piper asks if she's having a crappy day. Phoebe says, yeah. And Piper, puts her arm around Phoebe's like, Cole? You're like, yeah.
And they head toward the stairs.
It was cute. Back
on the astral plane, Cole is hanging off of the side of a rock as the creature slithers around under the sand at his feet. I love this effect.
Mm-hmm.
I think they must have, had a ball on a string or something that was under a bunch of sand they were filming and then just, yanked it.
I don't know.
Because it's clearly, happening under, but it's not like a scoop. It's just a mild displacement, and then you have a track.
Yeah.
It's fun. Anyway, another demon. We get that same shot of a demon falling from the sky, blowing up in midair, and then the powers falling to the ground to swirl around in a pile.
Cole sees the creature nearby on the ground, whispers Phoebe's name, and then jumps down from the rock.
He clearly wasn't that high up.
Nope. He yells at the creature that it doesn't want the powers, it wants him, and the creature heads toward Cole.
Yeah.
Because
it's distractible.
Apparently so.
Anyway, Cole is yelling for the creature to hurry up and end it, he ends up stepping into the middle of this puddle of lights on the ground, and it gets absorbed into his feet. And then, coolest part, the creature rears up like a cobra to attack Cole, and he puts his hands up in self-defense, and there's some kind of lightning or acid or electricity or something that comes out of his fingers. It zaps, burns the creature, and thing retreats back into the ground.
Yeah. Cole kind of looks confused for a moment, and then we get another demon falling from the sky and disintegrating. And as that power falls to the ground, Cole kind of looks at it and goes, This could be good.
Yeah.
So he gets to see this as an opportunity.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. How Slytherin of him.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the attic at the manor, Paige brings what looks like a charred glove to a candle flame and then drops it into a bowl.
Piper is reading from the Book of Shadows, and Paige is following her instructions about how to consecrate a scrying crystal.
Hey.
Yeah. As Paige finishes, Phoebe walks in, just finishing a phone call with Daryl. She says that he confirmed that Jackman was right about a serial killer, and then Paige starts to scry,
and also what the serial killer was doing.
Oh, yes, that a serial killer was burning people at the stake.
Yeah.
And then Paige starts to scry, and that brings our scrying total up to 11 for the season and 16 for the series.
Phoebe says that Daryl also mentioned that Jackman has traced their genealogy all the way back to Melinda Warren.
Piper says that he's gone to a lot of trouble to get as much info on them as possible, and that she's got a bad feeling he's not going to let them off the hook so easily after this is done.
Paige is worried that he's going to keep using them, and Phoebe quips about being Charlie's freaking angels.
Which is a reference to the Crime-Stopping Women that started as a TV show in the late 70s and had just come out as a reboot movie in 2000. When this episode aired, the sequel to that movie was still a year away.
Mm-hmm.
And it's now relevant again as they are rebooting the franchise once more.
Yep.
So the crystal points to a spot on the map. Paige asks if they're going to go after Selena. Piper's like, we don't really have a choice. We can't let her run around burning people at the stake.
We cut to an exterior shot of a very quaint little house with a combo red brick and white picket fence.
It was an adorable little house. Mm-hmm. Very suburban, very cute.
Paige orbs into a random room with a couch with Piper and Phoebe.
Now, the girls have added jackets to their outfits. Phoebe has put back on her pink jacket.
Mm-hmm.
Piper has added a long army green coat to her outfit that almost matches her shirt in color. It's like just like half a shade off.
Mm-hmm.
And Paige has added a light blue jacket to hers, where the bottom of it matches the peplum from the top of her dress.
This one kind of reminded me of like a blue version of that one
it.
orange jacket that we had.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I love it.
I really, really liked it.
It was super cute.
Super duper cute.
Anyway.
I love that it matched the peplum of the dress.
Oh yeah.
So it's like it came with the dress. Just perfect match.
Mm-hmm.
It was great.
Anyway, Piper walks over to a door, opens it very slightly, and peeks through. And we see Selena sitting on a couch in the next room, and there's men with guns all around her. One's sitting next to her, one's walking across the room, and Piper closes that door again and whispers back to her sisters that Selena has a lot of bodyguards.
Yeah. Phoebe wonders why Jackman didn't tell them about the bodyguards, and Paige assumes that he didn't think that they would help if they knew about them.
Just then, through a different door, a bodyguard walks in.
He pulls out a gun and shoots at Paige. She screams a little. Piper freezes the bullet in midair and then yells at Paige for not checking before orbing.
As she swats the bullet out of the air. Another bodyguard comes in via...
Yet another door.
I think this was the door she opened.
Yeah.
And then shoots at Paige. This time she actually orbs out. Bullet goes through the window. Phoebe grabs said bodyguard and pushes him against like an armoire or something.
Yeah.
But and it breaks.
But because this isn't in the house, that doesn't account.
Yep.
Now, one of these bodyguards gets an uncredited credit. I'm not sure which one, only because I
think it might be the first one.
I think it was the first one.
Because he was the only Asian one.
Yeah.
I think we had an Asian, we had a white guy, we had a black guy.
Yeah.
There were at least 3.
Yeah. So I'm fairly certain this was the first one. So his name is Michael Chaturanthabut. Something like that. He's known as Mike
Chaturanthabut.
Sure. He's known as Mike Chat to his friends, so
yes.
we're just going to call him Mike
yeah.
Chat. He was born in Rayon, Thailand.
The home of the fabric. No, I'm kidding.
No. In 1975. He has about 20 acting credits so far, and a bunch of stunt credits. Mm-hmm. He started acting back in 1995, and he was apparently the Blue Ranger on Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue. So if anybody watched that, there you go.
Yeah.
The only Blue Ranger I care about is Billy, because Billy was my nerd.
Cool.
And he was gone after the second incarnation.
Was the one who ended up doing martial arts Zach? Or was he the black one?
Zach was the black one.
Okay. The name popped into my head. I
mean, they all did martial arts. It was kind of
well, yeah, but no, like, the one who's known for it.
Oh.
Like, he was not the nerd. He was the other white guy.
Are you talking about Jason? No. Oh, you're
Possibly?
talking about...
Because Billy was the nerd, right?
Yeah, Billy was the Blue Ranger, Billy was the nerd.
Okay, and then Zach was the black one, and then the other male Power Ranger was the one with the
There was the Red
ponytail.
Ranger... Oh, you're thinking of the White Ranger or the Green Ranger. That's Jason David Frank.
Okay, yeah. He's the one who's really into martial arts, isn't he?
Yeah.
And then there was Kimberly.
Yep, she was the Pink Ranger.
And who was the yellow one?
There was Trini.
Okay.
Was the Yellow Ranger. She died in a car crash, I think it was. Yeah. Anyway, cut to the other room as Selena runs for the door. Paige orbs in front of her, asking if she's going somewhere. Selena takes a swing at Paige, but misses.
And then Paige punches Selena in the face and knocks her unconscious onto the floor, just as Piper and Phoebe race in.
Paige says that they're going to need a lot of memory dust when this is all over. And Piper's like, we need to get going. And then Phoebe sees Cole in the corner of the room. He calls to her.
He's
kind of like
fade.
Yeah, he's kind of ethereal looking. Like he's kind of like see-through.
They copy pasted and then they turned down the opacity on his layer.
Yes. She says his name, gets Piper's attention, but he disappears just as Piper turns and sees, and she's like, I swear he was just there. And then the other bodyguard runs in, shoots at Phoebe,
who ducks,
and so the bullet hits the wall behind her, taking out the light fixture. Piper freezes him, they grab hold of Selena, and they orb out, and we go to commercial break.
Yeah. We come back to a knock on the manor door. Piper answers it, and we see who? Jackman has changed clothes.
Yes. He is now in dark brown pants and a white button-down shirt under a brown jacket. He asks where Selena is. Piper points in the direction of the living room. He pulls out his gun, and she's like, you're not going to need that. She's unconscious. And so he dutifully puts it away, and they go back into the living room. Now, all of the girls have removed their jackets again. And Selena is laying on the couch. I believe she was in, like, shades of army green.
Yeah.
Again, like, army green is just a thing in this episode.
Nice loose jacket.
Yeah.
Cargo pants. That type of thing.
Yeah.
Jackman asks if Selena put up a fight. Phoebe says her bodyguards did. And
he seems surprised by this. Like,
Yes.
she had bodyguards? And Piper's like, yeah, and they had guns, and they weren't shy about using them.
And then Jackman provides the extremely lame excuse that Selena must have known he was closing in on her. Paige thinks it's a bit odd that a serial killer had hired guns to protect her.
Jackman says that she might not have been working alone, and Phoebe's like, or you're just not telling us everything.
Yep.
And he's like, yeah, maybe I'm not. What are you going to do about it?
Piper's like, well, we're not going to let you go and take her without a fucking warrant.
And then Jackman gets this look on his face like, you a bitch. You know, like he wants to call her names, but he can't.
Yeah.
And he says that, you know, that thinking that having powers means you're above it all and that you're special, that your arrogance is your Achilles heel, and that's why witch hunters and demons are always going to be after you. And, you know, he goes, I wouldn't trade places with you for the world. And then he pulls a piece of paper out of his shirt pocket, throws it on the table, and he goes, there's your warrant. And Paige is like, okay, well, when do we get our file? And he goes, you'll get it when Selena is in jail and I feel safe.
Also, him complaining about them asking for a warrant as being above it all. No, that's the fucking law, dude.
Uh-huh. Just a bit.
Yeah.
Just a bit. And the fact that he thought to have one with him, you know.
Yeah. It's like, I really dislike how in procedurals, police procedurals, anyone who's like, do you have a warrant? Or like, I need you to talk to my lawyer, is vilified.
Yeah.
Because, like, that's your right.
Uh-huh.
You
It's
need to
kind of-
exercise your
It's
fucking
kind of
right.
how the law works.
Yeah.
Like, anyone who asks for a lawyer has got to be guilty.
Nope.
No, that's not how that works.
Nope. Nope. They're trying to prevent themselves from incriminating themselves if they're innocent.
Uh-huh.
Or if they're guilty. Doesn't matter. Innocent until proven guilty, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Also,
lawyers
important
are
to
a thing.
know the difference between a judicial warrant and other things that certain types of agencies, cough cough ICE, might try to pass off as a warrant.
Yeah.
If it ain't signed by a judge, it's not a judicial warrant, guys. You don't have to follow it.
Yeah. Anyway, Phoebe asks what he needs to feel safe from, and he says he wants to be safe from them. And then he picks up Selena and says that he doesn't want to be another mysterious disappearance. And then he leaves with her. And Piper, you know, gets mad, saying that she knew he'd never give up the files and that they're officially screwed. And Phoebe replies, not necessarily, as she and Piper sit down on the couch.
Paige says that they're not going to give up their powers, and she storms over to the chair and sits down.
Phoebe says she doesn't want to give up their powers either, but she really doesn't want to give up her lives even more, and she's worried that Jackman is just going to keep using them.
Piper says that they can get a clean slate and reminds Paige that they should wait until this played out, and now it has. She says that if they hadn't gotten the offer, she might think differently, but she's tired of fighting, and it's really never ending.
Phoebe asks if they should let Leo in on the decision, but Piper says that it has nothing to do with him, and he will understand.
It has a little to do with
him. Paige says that they're only seeing the bad things, asking about the wonder of being a witch and all the things that they've introduced her to fairly recently.
Yeah. She asks if they let all that go, and Phoebe's like, yeah, it doesn't balance out. Everything we've lost doesn't really seem worth it.
Paige asks if all the good they've done counts for anything, and Piper reminds her that they've fulfilled their destiny, that this is supposed to be their reward.
Paige says it doesn't feel like a reward because without them being witches, she wouldn't have sisters.
Which isn't completely true.
They wouldn't have found her.
Not necessarily. I mean, kind of maybe, but not necessarily.
Yeah, Paige, remember when Paige had talked about, you know, who found her and, like, where she was found, like, she hadn't really done much of the research She wasn't keen on doing much of the research. It was
I mean-
it was entirely that one brochure that landed on her fucking desk at work that
true.
made her go to Prue's funeral and meet them.
That's
Like,
true.
without magic, she would not have found her sisters.
That's true.
And if they had not come into their powers, well, first of all, Prue probably wouldn't be dead.
Well,
Probably. I'm
Maybe.
saying probably. Like, it's a
Maybe.
possibility.
yeah.
And, you know, they wouldn't have cause to look for another sister.
I mean, true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Mhm.
Anyway,
Time jump.
yes, we time jump to the girls and the Angel of Destiny in the attic. Piper and Phoebe are sitting on the little love seat. Paige is sitting in the window,
Behind them.
and the Angel is standing in the middle of the room.
And Charleston asks if they're sure. Phoebe says they're as sure as they're ever going to be. And he reminds them that the decision is final. And there's no going back. Piper, of course, says they understand. And so
He's all like, all right, very well. And
closes
he closes
his eyes and starts to raise his arms.
Phoebe looks at Piper, and then Piper's like, hold on. I just want to clarify there isn't any fine print technicalities. There isn't going to be any more demons, vengeful warlocks. And Phoebe chimes in saying that they aren't going to have to worry about Agent Jackman anymore or anyone else who might have found out that they're witches.
Piper continues, saying that they want to be free to lead normal lives with no demonic aftertaste.
Which I thought was great. The Angel replies, absolutely. And then Paige stands up and asks if they'll remember being witches. She walks over to her sisters as the Angel replies that they'll remember everything.
This
That
isn't going to change the past, just the future. And Paige asks about the Book of Shadows.
He says that it will pass to some future descendant, because just because they don't have powers doesn't mean that they're not going to have witchy descendants.
Yep.
You know. And then Phoebe asks if Cole will keep trying to contact her. The Angel replies that he doesn't know because he has no control over that, as Cole exists beyond time and space, outside of Destiny's reach.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Piper questions Phoebe, and she replies that Cole is still holding on, which is why he appeared to her.
Phoebe thinks that if she can tell Cole that she doesn't have the power to save him, that he'll be able to move on for good.
Paige thinks this isn't a good idea, considering what happened last time, but Phoebe says she owes him more than to leave it like this.
And everyone kind of seems to be in agreement.
On the astral plane, Cole is standing at the top of that, rock staircase when Phoebe astral projects in.
He's on the other side.
Yeah,
though.
there's
There's
the
a
rock
little
staircase,
gap between.
the landing, a little bit of a gap, and then a column
Yeah.
that you can stand on.
Yeah.
She calls out to him and climbs up the rock to him, telling him that they need to talk, but she doesn't have a lot of time.
And this is a scene where I legit was like, she's too emotional to realize how weird this scene is.
Yes.
Because if she was paying attention and not emotional in this moment, she would know something was up.
Yeah, she came here with a message to deliver, doesn't really care about how
Right.
he takes it, he just needs to.
Right. Because he asks if she saw him come to her. She says she did and asks how he does it. And he replies, it's a secret. Right then, she should have been like, the fuck is going on? Tell me right now. But no, she doesn't.
No.
Because a la convenience.
Yeah, she just barrels on through and tells him that they're all giving up their powers. She doesn't have time to explain. He apparently understands what that means. And she says, we did the best we could. It wasn't meant to be. Love just wasn't enough, and we both need to move on.
Yeah. It's not that we didn't love each other, it's just that love wasn't enough.
That's a weird smile you've got on.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Cole tells her that she'd better go before the beast attacks.
After a pause.
Uh-huh. And she turns away and then astral projects back out.
And we see Cole look down at the sandy ground on the other side of where he's standing. So she would not have seen this when she entered.
Yep.
And there is the dead creature burned and split in half.
Yep.
Just lying there dead.
Yep.
Yep.
I think it's interesting, though, that it was just 2 tentacles. That's it. This entire wasteland, all of 2 tentacles.
I mean,
Just saying.
if it's just powers puddled down on the floor, they got time.
Just saying.
Power puddles don't have legs. They ain't gonna evaporate. They ain't going nowhere.
Power Puddle is my Puddle of Mud cover band.
I think Power Puddle would probably be my Hootie and the Blowfish cover band.
Anyway, we cut back to the attic as Phoebe astral projects back into her body with another gasp.
Piper asks if she's okay. She's like, yes, I'm ready. And then Piper says that she and Paige have been thinking a bit.
Phoebe asks if she's having second thoughts, and Paige is like, not about the decision, unfortunately. And Piper says that they've been thinking about Jackman and Selena. Paige says that a lot of things just don't add up, including his extensive knowledge of witches, how he got a hold of that amulet, and, the bodyguards.
Mm-hmm. Piper adds in that he came alone to pick up Selena, and that they just want to be sure they've done the right thing before it's too late to do anything about it.
Phoebe asks the angel if it's okay, and he says...
Oh, absolutely. I thought you were being a bit premature anyway, which is a very Headmaster Charleston thing to do.
Yeah. Piper's like, why didn't you say anything? And he goes, we can't, free will and all. And, I laughed so hard.
Yeah.
Because it was so true. It's like, I thought you were being dumb, but, free will, I can't tell you not to. He tells them to let him know when they're ready, and then he disappears in a ball of light and goes out the window.
Paige asks what they do now. Piper calls for Leo, who orbs in with Daryl.
He says that they were just coming to find them. Piper asks what they found out, and Leo's like, well, we found another genealogy besides yours that Jackman has.
Paige is like, yeah, we know. Selena is a descendant of witch hunters, which technically Jackman didn't say. He said he traced her genealogy all the way back to the witch trials.
True.
Is what he said.
It's very true. Very, very true.
Technicalities.
Yes. He technically didn't lie about that.
He called her a
specific
witch
thing.
hunter and then said he traced her genealogy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he lied, but...
He did lie, but just not about that specific thing.
So,
Daryl tells them, no. Selena isn't. Jackman is. Selena is the daughter of a witch.
Piper questions him, and Daryl says she's a victim, and she was in a safe house because someone was trying to kill her.
Paige begs to be told that they didn't just help a witch hunter get a witch, and all of the girls freak out.
Side note, I know someone who lives down the street from a witness protection house.
Oh, wow.
Like, it's very obvious based on the traffic coming in and out at the times it's coming in and out of this house, and how it's always, like, different people.
Interesting.
She's like, yeah, that's witness protection.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. There's a house that, where I walk one of my dogs, there's a house that has, 6 security cameras.
Damn.
In the front of the house.
Mm-hmm.
And, 3 of them are pointing at the front door. And I'm like, okay, there's either drug dealers or cops in that house. There's no 2 ways around it.
Yep.
That's it. There's either drug dealers or cops. That's the only explanation.
I feel like if they were drug dealers, the cameras would be less obvious.
No, not necessarily.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
They want you to know.
Yeah.
Maybe it would be less obvious if it were cops. Because they wouldn't want you to know? I don't know. They have one that was visible, and the other 2 would just be pinhole somewhere.
Yeah. I don't know. But it's definitely there's one that's right at the door, and there's one on the other side that's pointing at the door, and then there's one that's pointing kind of toward the street that shows the door, but it's pointing down the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's 2 on either side that are pointing down the
you
the
gotta
side of the house.
You gotta I don't know, take a Snapchat.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to take a picture of it. I refuse to be caught on camera taking a picture of that house because I don't know if it's cops or drug dealers.
Fair, but what if you're just snapping the dog and you just kind of pan? And
No, because I would have to pan upward.
Yeah, you've done that before.
I'm not going to do it.
Okay, fine.
I value my life too much to not know what is in the house. I don't want to know, and I don't want to be caught on camera looking at the house.
Can you do an artistic rendering for me, maybe?
Possibly.
Okay.
We will see. I will draw,
I just want to
draw
know.
you a sketch.
I just want to know how this looks.
Okay, I will draw you a sketch when we're done here.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we cut to a wooded area where Jackman has Selena tied to a stake.
Tied to a telephone pole. Basically.
Yeah, it's a pole that's kind of just jammed in the ground, and there's a pyre of wood at her feet. He lights a torch, and that is an actual torch, not a flashlight.
Yeah.
And he sets the wood surrounding her feet on fire in 5 strategic spots.
Hey, it's a pentagram.
And she cries for help. He says that no one can hear her where they are. She begs him to stop, and she starts crying. And he's like, oh, but I must. It is my duty. It's what I was born to do. And I will continue until every last one of you is dead.
Standard villain monologue.
Yep.
And he's like, "You're not going to get away with this time." And she cries for help again. We go to commercial break.
Yeah.
We come back, like, just bare moments after we left. Selena says he's making a mistake, swearing she's not a witch. He's like, "Bitch, it's in your blood. Your mom was a witch. That means you're a witch." She begs him to stop again. And then he's like, "Fun fact, they burned witches at the stake so they'd burn forever in eternal fire."
And they used green wood to make it last longer and prolong the agony. That's not actually why they did it, but okay.
I mean, green wood's more available. You don't want to wait to season that shit.
Yeah. Like, they used green wood because that's what they had.
Mm-hmm. Also gets smokier. So they probably die from smoke inhalation faster, too.
Yeah. I have so many thoughts about witch trials.
Witch trials?
And the stupidity.
Wait, witch trials?
Yes.
But which ones?
Yes.
But which ones?
Yes.
Which king of Angmar?
Yes.
But which king?
Yes.
Oh, that one.
Yes. I've never understood, like, I understand that the whole thing started because some kids got bored and pissed off at people.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically how it all started. I get that. I totally get that. What I don't understand is why so many people went along with it, especially when they were drowning people. It was like, if you float, you're a witch, but if you drown, you were innocent.
If you speak
Either
out,
way, you're killing
if you
people.
speak out, you're a witch.
But, like, if you drown, you're innocent. If you float, you're a witch. So we'll kill you. So if you were innocent, you died, but at least you died innocent.
And you go to heaven.
Like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
I don't understand. I don't get it.
I've seen theories that it was probably related to, like, the start of it, or some part of it was related to a certain mold that got into food stores.
Yeah, like the rye bread hallucinogen thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
Also, it's a paranoia thing. Like, when you have people who don't have a lot of information on hand, who live in a very high-stakes environment, who, like, don't have good healthcare and all. If there's a certain type of, I don't want to say vibe, but, like, if the community engenders a certain competitiveness that can easily turn foul, like, I can see how it happens. It doesn't mean I think it should. And I definitely don't think it happened often.
Like I said, I
think it gets blown out of proportion a lot.
I can see how it started.
Yes.
But I just don't understand how people let it get as far as it got.
Probably a combination of opportunists and people who...
And it was mostly against women.
Yes.
So,
people who didn't feel empowered to actually speak up because they felt like their lives would be in danger.
Yeah. Oh, it's just sad.
Oh, very.
Now that we've brought it all down...
Also, I don't think many were burned at the stake.
No, there weren't a lot.
There were a lot of hangings.
There was a lot of hangings. There was a lot of drownings.
Mm-hmm.
But there wasn't really a lot of burning at the stake because that takes a lot of energy.
Oh, I was watching Schitt's Creek with Colin yesterday, and it was this episode where this one woman finds out that her friend has, like, or maybe her sister, I don't know who all the characters are, but anyway,
no idea.
There's a pregnant lady, and she and her husband stick the sonogram that tells them what gender their baby is on the desk of one of the main characters, and the main character accidentally opens it, and suddenly she knows, but they don't, and they're like both like, hey, you want to tell us? You want to tell us? We'd love to know. We'd love to know. But of course, the main character's like, your husband told me to keep a secret, so that's what I'm doing. And then the pregnant lady comes up with the story where she's like, oh yeah, not knowing the gender of your baby goes way, way back. And I'm like, yeah, because sonograms weren't always a thing.
Uh-huh.
And then she mentions that one of her ancestors correctly just guessed the gender of her baby and was burned at the stake as a witch.
Yeah, well, But that's why gender-neutral clothing was a thing.
Yep.
That's why all babies wore dresses, because it was easier to change a diaper.
Mm-hmm.
Even if the boys were in dresses.
Also,
it makes sense.
Babies' curly hair is adorable.
And babies don't care.
That shit?
Well, there's a lot of Thanks. We
I
should
know,
probably end this tangent now.
Probably.
Anyway, so he throws the torch onto the pyre. She cries out again, and then Paige orbs in with Piper and Phoebe. And once again, they have added their jackets to their outfits. So they took the time, after finding this out, to put their jackets on.
Mm-hmm.
Which they had to go downstairs and get their jackets.
Yep.
Just saying.
Yep.
Wasting a bit of time for no reason.
Well, what if Paige just closed her eyes and said, jackets?
I mean, maybe, but still.
She knows what they look like. They could have removed to the attic.
Maybe, but still.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Jackman asks if they've come to save their sister witch. Piper's like, yeah, and then tries to freeze the fire. Nothing happens.
Jackman says that he buried the rest of the amulets in anticipation of their arrival, so their powers are useless.
And then he pulls out a gun and grabs Phoebe, and he's like, but my powers aren't.
Piper starts to react, but he's like, you move, she dies. And Phoebe says that his plan all along was to kill them, and then she lets out an ouch as he squeezes her arm.
Like a really aggrieved ouch. Like,
yeah, like,
ouch!
How dare you? Yeah.
You fucker.
Yeah.
Motherfucker doesn't start with a B.
He asks how it feels to be powerless and mortal, and then says that they're a blasphemy, and burning will be their justice. Phoebe, possibly remembering what burning alive feels like,
Oh, yeah.
hits Jackman in the face and knocks him to the ground.
Yep.
Go, Phoebe.
Boop, boop.
Phoebe then tells Piper and Paige to get Selena. They run over and try to put the fire out. Literally just like they take off their jackets
Swatting.
and start swatting
Well,
at the...
Paige takes off her
Paige
jacket.
took off her jacket and started swatting at the thing. And Piper was trying to kick sand at the fire.
Yeah. Selena's pants catch on fire. Paige points it out to Piper, and Piper
At this
takes
point,
off her jacket and takes a running leap at Selena.
As we see Phoebe still fighting in the background with
Yeah.
Jackman, just kicking his butt.
Yeah.
It was great.
And when she basically like clotheslines.
Yeah, she tackles her.
She
like
tackles
football tackle.
She doesn't tackle Selena, so she tackles the column,
Yeah.
which somehow like breaks off and falls to the side where there's conveniently no fire.
Yeah.
And somehow Selena comes off of the column this way.
Yeah, because she was only attached to the pole
But yeah,
by
but
her
like,
hands.
yeah, and somehow the rope has come off. And
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway,
So the pole falls to the ground. Paige puts out the fire on Selena's clothes with her jacket. And I looked at that and went, oh, poor jacket.
Mm-hmm.
You know. And then Jackman is prone on the ground, but he sees his gun and he's able to grab it. And he points it at Phoebe. He gets up. And instead of shooting her immediately...
he takes the time
Yep.
to tell her that saving Selena's life cost her her own. And then we see Cole appear, we're not quite sure in which direction.
Well, he is back behind Phoebe to the right.
Mm-hmm.
So Phoebe can't see him yet.
Okay.
But
See,
so,
at first I thought he'd appeared back behind Jackman.
Right, that's what I thought, but no.
No. Anyway, he's back in the woods, a little bit shadowy, but still kind of visible. And as Jackman shoots the gun, we see the bullet slow down, but Phoebe's sleeves don't, so she's still in real time.
Uh-huh.
And then Cole waves his hand, like does a swappy motion.
Yep.
And they switch places with a nice blur effect.
Yeah, so Phoebe and Jackman swap places. The bullet speeds up, hits Jackman in the chest.
I wonder where that would have hit Phoebe then, like in the face.
Probably the neck.
She's a lot shorter than him though.
Yeah.
But a lot short, like more than a foot. Isn't she?
I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like Bruce Campbell's probably.
But she's
fairly
wearing
tall.
heels, so...
Yeah, but she's on grass.
Yeah,
I
doesn't
don't
matter.
know.
Anyway. So, hits him in the chest. He falls to the ground, dead as a doornail. Phoebe then sees Cole. He starts to walk over toward her, but she kind of backs up a little bit.
And he's like, I couldn't let you die. She's like, how are you there? And he says, I've picked up quite a few powers lately.
Yeah, I've picked up a few powers. Quite a few powers. He starts to leave, but then turns back to say that he's never giving up on them. Ever. And then he goes to walk away and disappears in a blur of light.
Which is not a disappearing effect we've ever seen
Nope.
before. But it's interesting.
It's very interesting. I kind of like it.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's that creepy moment of like, I'm never giving up on us. It's again that stalker mentality.
Yeah.
And I dislike it.
Mm-hmm.
I dislike it a lot.
Selena coughs. And Piper tells Paige that she needs an ambulance. Paige tells Selena she'll be okay. And then races off.
Yeah, she runs away.
Oh,
into
I think
the woods
she...
because I think the ambulance was nearby.
No. Did she say, go get the amulets? Was that what she said?
No, she said she needs an ambulance.
Okay, my brain heard that as go get the amulets so they can orb out of there, like so they can remove the amulets or whatever.
I don't know. I heard it as ambulance.
It could have been amulets.
It could have been amulets.
Either way, Piper and Phoebe exchange a meaningful look, and we cut to a lovely day shot of the skyline.
Yeah, we kind of fade into the skyline where we get to see the Triangle building. Yay! And then we end on a shot outside the manor. Workers are still outside. There's a huge pile of sand.
Again.
The driveway is completely covered.
Yep.
It's hilarious. Inside, Leo is pacing back and forth. He's in khaki pants and a long sleeve red polo shirt with the sleeve pushed up. He checks his watch as Piper and Phoebe walk through the front door. Piper is in tall brown boots and a brown skirt with a black cami top under a long sleeve sheer pink boat neck top.
Yeah.
And the pink shirt has little spirals all over it and has a little bow at the neck. And her hair is down. It's super cute.
Mm-hmm.
Phoebe is in a dress that looks like it could have been a nightgown. It's spaghetti straps. It has a very bold pattern. And there's lace at the boobs.
Yeah, there's a black kind of winged sort of design.
Yeah, right under the breast. And then the lace at the top is what made me think it looked like a nightgown. Because I've seen nightgowns like that. And she has a teeny tiny little denim jacket over top of it. It is cropped so it's just at the boob line.
Yep. That's a bolero, baby.
There you go. She immediately takes off the jacket and her hair is down.
And a little curled at the ends.
Yeah. And she also had this purse that had it was kind of a U-shaped purse and had little sequins on it.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Leo asks where Paige is, and Piper's like, oh, she had to park down the street. The driveway's still blocked.
He's like, that's ridiculous. I'll go talk to the workers. And Phoebe's like, it's not that big a deal. And Piper's like, yeah, 24 hours ago, that was our biggest problem.
Yep. Leo asks how things went, and Piper says they all seem to have gotten away with everything. Selena testified for them, and Leo asks what they thought about how Agent Jack, what they meaning,
the cops,
the cops, and whoever else thought about how Agent Jackman died. And Piper just kind of jokingly says, well, they can't really figure out how he shot himself from 20 feet away.
And then Phoebe's like, what are they going to do? Subpoena Cole? And they kind of giggled a little.
Yeah.
Leo's like, you'd think that they'd be grateful that you stopped yet another cop from killing people. And Piper's like, yep, well, we could only hope.
Yep.
She then mentions the files, they'll be grateful until they find that file.
And then Leo's like, they kind of won't. I sort of orbed them into a volcano. And because they're not a grimoire, they burned.
Yeah.
Piper asks if he's allowed to do that. And he's like, well, it's my job to protect my charges. So I did.
Yeah, that's all I did.
And he gets a lovely kiss from Piper.
Yeah. She asked if he'd be okay without having to protect his charges, possibly in the future. And he's like, I will support whatever decision you decide. I mean it.
Mm-hmm. And then we get a really great sequence where we hear the drilling and yelling of men outside get louder as the front door opens and Paige starts to walk in.
She is in a tiny little black skirt and a very frilly and ruffly pink shirt.
A more pastel pink, Piper's pink is trending toward purple. A little bit.
It's a little brighter.
Page's is definitely in very pink realm.
Yeah.
And very light.
Yeah, hers is very much a powder pink.
It's much warmer.
Yeah. Her hair is up in little pigtails. Messy
pigtail buns.
Yeah, little messy pigtail buns. With a couple of tiny tendrils loose in the front.
Yeah, one of my friends in high school called those sexies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then suddenly it gets very quiet as Leo and everything else freezes. And Paige is like, the door's stuck. And then she looks over as the Angel of Destiny is there. And she goes like, oh,
it's you.
She walks over to Piper and Phoebe looking a bit defeated.
The Angel asks if they're ready to retire. Paige looks at the floor, but Phoebe says she doesn't think so anymore. She says it felt good and right to save someone.
She also mentions that she got a taste of what life would be like without her powers, and she didn't like it.
Nope. The Angel asks what Piper thinks, and she's like, well, majority rules, but might as well make it unanimous, and joking that they're masochists.
And Paige is like, we are? She's like, yeah, sometimes. Yeah. And of course, masochism is when you enjoy pain for pleasure sake,
yes.
Things like that.
Uh-huh.
Piper says that Phoebe's right about that being witches isn't a choice, it's who they are.
The angel reminds them that they won't have the opportunity again, and Phoebe's like, we understand. And he starts to leave, and he's like walking towards the front door, and he stops in front of Leo's frozen body, looks from him to Piper, and then tells her that neither decision would have affected her and Leo's personal destiny. So she questions him, she's like, what the hell?
Yeah, she questions him, and he's like, you'll find out soon enough. And then he kind of glances down her entire body, stopping at her stomach, and then looking back up.
We can't
With this,
exactly
like-
see where he's looking. He just kind of like is looking at her face, and then we see him glance down and then back up.
Yeah, he definitely does that, like, you'll find out, and, like, does the knowing glance.
He's got that like shit-eating grin on too.
Yeah, it's
It's-
kind of funny.
Oh gosh.
And then, so Phoebe gets it first.
Gets excited.
And-
Piper's
and-
like, what? And he's like, you don't know, and then looks at Paige. And
It's like,
and
you
then,
don't get it?
And then Paige starts getting the oh shit, and then Phoebe yells, she's pregnant.
Yes, she excitedly says she's pregnant.
And then Piper's like,
this
who's
is
pregnant?
this is my favorite, like,
It's
cute
the
sister
best.
moment scene.
Piper's like, wait, who's pregnant? I'm
I'm
pregnant.
pregnant?
And then Phoebe and Paige both start screaming.
And yeah, they scream in excitement. They hug Piper, and Phoebe says an adorable "Hi, baby" to Piper's stomach, like hugging her stomach. They all start to giggle, and the Angel of Destiny smiles and disappears in a burst of light, going through the front door, shutting it behind him. And we go to the end credits, keeping up the stunt of the door closing on the season finale.
Mm-hmm.
It was very nice.
Yep.
Very, very nice.
And now that we're done with the episode, we are on to our ratings.
Indeed.
What is yours, my dear?
Mine is 9 out of 10 pregnant Pipers.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to give mine a 9 out of 10 lascivious lemonades.
Fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. So, ratings are done, which
Yep.
means we're on to outfits.
Paige's dress. Like that white dress.
Yeah, I like the main outfit.
Sexy as hell.
And I also enjoyed it with the jacket and without. Like,
Yes.
it was cute either way.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it a lot. For Phoebe, again, I liked the main outfit with the jacket. Because I wasn't really a fan of that shirt. But the jacket covering the shirt with the skirt was cute.
I liked the final outfit, but mostly I liked her hair with the final outfit. I thought that was adorable. Phoebe?
Phoebe, just with her hair down?
Yeah. With the little curly ends.
I liked it better when it was up. But
Mhm.
we have learned that I like it better when it's up.
Yeah.
For Piper, I liked the final outfit because I just loved that top shirt. Spiral is my favorite shape, and so I will forever love a spiral. So, with ratings and outfits now done,
We're on to our usual season finale activities, which
are the questions. So, remember that you can answer these questions right along with us in the comments on YouTube, or you can send them an email, or you can put it in the Discord. You can answer these questions. So, first question, what is your favorite episode or episodes from this season? I will let you go first.
I think Long Live the Queen is one of my favorites.
Okay.
Just like for the last quarter of it, really.
Okay.
Because that I used to listen to that song that plays as Phoebe's like sobbing in her bedroom to like make myself cry.
Yeah.
When I'm like, I need to cry. Press play.
Yeah.
No.
For me, I liked Hell Hath No Fury. Which
Very
was
good, yes.
From the beginning of the season. And Saving Private Leo from
Yes,
the back
because
end.
you and all of your Piper and Leo
Yeah.
loving.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I mean, this episode also has a new special place in my heart just because, like, she's pregnant.
Yeah.
And it's much fun. But those are my two favorites. So, question number 2 is, do you have a least favorite episode of the season? For me, it is Enter the Demon.
I think mine might be Bite Me? The vampire one? I mean, some of it was fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't particularly care for it.
No.
Oh, shit. No, I'm thinking another favorite was... I can never keep track of all of the stupid fucking wedding puns that they use.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have, like, Just Harried, but that's from last season.
Yeah.
So what was the one they used for the wedding one? Because I liked the wedding episode a lot. Merry-go-round, that was it.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean, it has everything. It has a fake shapeshift. It has a wedding dress. It has Coolio.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to replace that as being my favorite episode of this season.
Okay. On to question number 3.
Mm-hmm.
What was your first reaction and opinion of Paige, and did it change over the course of the season?
Well, for starters, I have always loved all of her outfits. Yeah, she's got a fun wardrobe, that girl. Occasionally I felt like she got a bit whiny, but like no more whiny than any of them have ever been.
Mm-hmm.
I never disliked her because she was a replacement for Shannon's character for Prue, which I can see as being a reason people might like need to warm up to her. Like, I've always liked the character because I've always liked the concept, even if retroactively I can recognize that this is a form of retconning.
Yeah.
But not like retconning per se. It's more like, oh shit, magical backstory.
Yeah.
Right, Blue? Tailbow wag.
I like the way that they brought her in, and with a few faults, she did grow stronger throughout the season.
Mm-hmm.
So I look forward to seeing where she goes from here.
Yeah.
Because we are in the series of episodes that I don't remember anything.
Right.
So like I know bits and pieces of what comes next, but I don't remember most of the next 3 seasons.
Yep. He's about to roll over.
I got him.
Okay. Just checking.
No worries.
Because he was slowly like
No
tipping
worries.
forward.
No worries, I got him.
Favorite Charmer in this season? It's Piper. It's always Piper. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's face it.
Yeah. Question number 4.
Mm-hmm.
It's always Piper.
Yeah. Favorite villain? Definitely the Source.
Yes. I like
Although
the Source.
the Seer is a very close second.
I like the Source specifically in episode 402 when he possessed the body of Paige's boyfriend.
That was interesting.
I liked that version of the Source.
You know what?
Because it was just creepy enough.
I really fucking loved the, like, balance of the Source during, like, merry-go-round and the very next episode. Because he's, like, having to flop between, like, pretending to be Cole and being the Source. And then there's that one bit where he pretends to be the Seer for a hot second.
Mm-hmm.
To be like, oh shit, improv.
Yeah.
Like, it was a very good... The Source the entire season, like, when he was, you know, kind of still faceless,
Mm-hmm.
and then when he only had half a face, and then when he had Cole's face, like, there was a bit of a character arc going on with that. With him, like, shifting between, you know, being dead on evil to, like, sort of melding with Cole a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It was very interesting. I thought it was cool to watch.
Yeah. The Source is just an interesting concept of the fact of all evil has one face.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, it's cool.
Yeah.
As a concept, you know?
Indeed.
Yeah. And our final question, last but not least, what is your favorite moment or moments of the season? For me, it is finding out that Piper was pregnant. Like, just that entire scene is perfection, and I love it.
I think my
And
favorite...
I also love it because Leo was frozen when they found out.
Oh my
so
God, yeah.
Leo didn't know
Yeah.
in that moment. It was
So he
just
gets
the girls.
he gets to come to find his wife is now across the room screaming with her sisters about being pregnant. Like, oh man.
Yeah.
It's like that's way better than peeing on a stick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, like, who knows how early? It's got to be real early days then. Because
because she just found out, like, in the last episode that she
Yeah.
couldn't get pregnant.
Was it the last?
It was either
episode?
the last episode or
I think
2
it was
episodes.
I think it was 2 episodes ago. Yeah.
So yeah, it was just a couple of episodes ago, so not too long ago, that she got word from doctor that she has too much scar tissue to get pregnant. And now all of a sudden she's pregnant. Like,
Yep.
boop-a-doo.
Yep.
But yeah.
What
about you?
I think my favorite moment is very specifically just the line of the Seers right after they vanquish the Source the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, shit, where does powers go? And she's just like, into the void.
Mm-hmm.
And then, oh shit, Cole!
Yeah.
That's just a really good twist.
Yeah.
I appreciate that twist because First of all, it's a pun.
Yes.
If
Well-
you weren't, no, it's a pun because if you weren't paying attention during our conversation with Cole, about how like he's got a void within him or whatever the fuck, you wouldn't understand what she means when she says into the void.
Yeah.
And you know, just her delivery on saying that, and then the immediate turnaround, and I think there was probably a music cue during this, which is why I remember it so well. The immediate turnaround of it being Cole.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh baby.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
This is very good stuff.
Speaking of stuff, we're now on to our social media stuff.
Indeed. You can email any questions, comments, or queries to charmchats@gmail.com. And you can find all the links to whatever was mentioned in today's episode at the website charmchats.com, which is where you can also find all the links to our Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Redbubble, YouTube, and Patreon pages. And if you want to join the Discord, all you have to do is email us the phrase, "We're the power of 2 plus blue," and we will send you out an invite link. The Discord's where it's all happening, people.
Oh yeah, baby.
We're having so much fun over there.
Mm-hmm.
So much fun.
Lots of sharing. Lots of caring.
Yes. So much fun. So, we thank you for listening, supporting the show, and since we're coming to the end of the season, if you want to give us a rating and review on iTunes,
That would be
be
great.
awesome, because then more people will find us.
Oh yeah.
And we haven't really been asking for that
Yep.
very much, like, at all, but it would be much appreciated if you haven't done it.
Mm-hmm.
Go for it. And if you have given us a rating and review, go and update your review to say how much, like, cooler the show has gotten since first season. You know, little things.
Yep.
Yeah. Just get it out there. But that being said, until next time,
Sleep tight. Don't let the warlocks bite.
bye!
Bye.
Piper, Phoebe, and Paige, kicking evil sauce weekly in the swarthy.